Right, I'm back in the indoor range today at work, but this time it's to do a bit of a pellet test for a subscriber on Vermin Hunters TV who wrote into me and said, I watched your BSA Ultra review and it was really good, but can you do one for HW100? So I brought in the rifle. It's also 177 caliber, and I've got the different pellet brands I use with the Ultra. So the RWS Superfield at 4.51mm, Air Arms Fields at 4.52mm, FX pellets also at 4.52mm, and what the BSA Ultra liked were the JSB Exacts at 4.53mm. I'm going to shoot this time though, instead of doing 5 shots into a group, I'm going to shoot 14 shots per pellet brand and see how tight we can get the group. The old idea why you do these pellet groups, obviously to find the best pellet which groups tightest in your barrel, but it also allows you then, once you've got the best pellet, to make one of these cards. Now I know you probably can't see it there, but basically it's a range card I've done, and it gives me ranges from 5 to 65 metres. And I've worked this out for ×3 magnification, ×5 and ×10 magnification. And the reason I've done that is because if I'm in the daytime, I usually shoot on ×10 magnification, especially static hunting. And if I'm using the scope cam at night, the lowest magnification is always the best, so I use ×3. ×5 is just in case I go lamping at night and I'm not using the scope cam, but I want to keep a low mag, but not too low that the rabbit looks too far away, but not too high. So there's not much light coming into the scope. So, good little handy tip. So, without further ado, let's get on with the test. The first brand of pellets we're going to be looking at are the RWS Superfield, which are the smallest diameter pellet at 4.51mm. They're also the pellets I have been using in my Weihrauch for hunting with and gaining some really good results with. I'll zoom in now to the 27-yard part, and you'll see there's a blank card there. I'm going to fire one shot somewhere in the middle of the card, which will become my aim point for the other 13 pellets remaining in the magazine. And we'll see how the rifle groups. I'm just going to load the rifle now. I'm using ×10 magnification on the scope. I'm just setting the parallax correctly now. Let's see how we get on. It's gone through the same hole. Through the same hole. This is the last one. There was 13 shots, made a nice one-hole group. We'll just zoom out and then we're going to have a look at it. Right, I've moved forward now to the 27-yard part on the indoor range, and what we're looking at here is the results from the RWS Superfield at 4.51mm. What you can see is I've wrote initial shot plus 13, and the initial shot is depicted by the 177 pellet, which has not been shot but blue tacked on in the middle of the group. You can also see there's a UK 5p piece here, and as you can imagine, if I was to move it to the right, the 5p piece would cover the whole 14 shot group quite easily, actually with room to spare. Now, because I'm actually looking at the card and not through the camera, I've got a better reference to actually how small this group is. So to assist you in gaining the same reference as I've got, I'm going to try zooming in without losing focus, and then we'll explain something more. As you can see, the camera keeps perfect focus. It is a real good camera, is this Sony Handycam. And what I'm trying to show you is, you can imagine now, look at the centre 177 pellet. If you was now to try and fit another 177 pellet anywhere around the edge of that pellet, actually touching it, you can imagine that somewhere on that card, no matter where you actually tried to get that pellet, even in the top corner, which is probably the largest part there would be some card rip. So what I'm trying to say is, we managed to get 14 pellets in probably the area of 2.5 pellets width total. So that's pretty good. And this is why we use, or I use, these RWS Superfield pellets in my Weihrauch, because I get these excellent results with it, and it also allows me now to extend my maximum hunting range quite considerably. This is the HFT squirrel I use for target practice, and as you can see here, I put a real small reducer on. To give you some idea how small this reducer is, I'll just stick the 5p piece and it fits over the hole quite easily with the blue tack on. I'll take the blue tack off and move it to the side of the hole. You can hopefully see there, while I'm holding it, the actual 5p piece is probably maybe 3/4 the size of the hole in the centre of the reducer. So I'm going to have a shot at that, and hopefully I could knock it over in one shot. Shouldn't be a problem for this rifle with using these pellets. Right, I'll zoom in now and you'll see the squirrel at the 27-yard part of the range. The reducer's still on, and it's the smallest reducer I've got, and I'm going to take one shot at it and try and knock it down. Now all I've done is put one RWS Superfield into the magazine and loaded the rifle. Now I'm that confident with these pellets that I'll actually fit this 4.51mm pellet through that hole in one shot. So, let's see. Like that. No problem whatsoever. Right, the next brand of pellets I'm going to be testing are the Air Arms Field at 4.52mm. Now these pellets were the ones I used to use in this rifle before I found the RWS Superfield being a bit better in this barrel. So I'm expecting this group to be quite good, but not as good as the RWS Superfield. See how we get on. Through the same hole. And again. And again, you're doing really well this time. And again. Still through the same hole. Still through the same hole. just going through the same hole and just making the card a little bit bigger with a rip. Slight wobble, but that was me. I think there might be one more. I'll just check the magazine. Yeah, one more. There we go. That's another excellent group. I'll just zoom out and we're going to have a look. Well, here we are again at the target end, and as you can see, another really good group with the air arms field at 4.52mm. I used my pen as a pointer again. The obviously initial shot was in the centre here, and as you can see, initial shot plus 12 shots have gone in there, so 13 shots in total, and I had one wobble, which was me just getting complacent shooting a group and finding it easy. Due to the rifle and the pellet matching really well. To give you some reference again to size, I'll just stick the 5p next to it, and you can see another really small group, and it covers both the wobble and the group very easily. I've got the unshot new 177 pellet, and I'll just try and stick it on for you. As you can see, again, it's a very small group, and you could actually say that the air arms field and the RWS super field work really well in this rifle, and you could use either of them for shooting vermin or for HFT and get really good results. But like I said, before I actually shot this group, it wasn't any surprise, because these are the pellets I used to use before I found the RWS super field at 4.51mm. The next brand we're going to try then is the FX pellets, and to be honest, I've tried them a few times in my rifle and my Weihrauch, and I've not had very good results with them, and I find the group opens up quite a bit, but we'll see how we get on. Right, we're going to move on to the FX pellets then, and I'll zoom in. Load the rifle. See how we get on with these. You can see they're not as good. I didn't think they would be. Blimey. The group that is forming is low and slightly to the right of my point of aim, and the point of aim is the top pellet mark at the moment. one more left. Get the magazine. Yep, that's it. As I thought, not as good. I'm not actually sure why. I'll zoom out and we're going to have a look. Here we are again at the target end. This time we're looking at the FX group. Now, as I said before I actually shot the group, I didn't think the group was going to fall very well and very tight, and it's not let me down, because this is about the third time I've tried these pellets in this rifle, and I just can't get them to group very good at all. I'm not actually sure why, because they're the same weight as the air arms field and they're the same diameter at 4.52mm, but as you can see they don't shoot anywhere near as good. So for people to say that the FX and the air arms and the JSB exacts are all the same and you get the same results is absolute rubbish, because I've just proved it. They might look the same and they might say the same on the tin, but you fire them through your barrel and they make a different group. You can see the first shot was this one here, and then the rest of the group, which is here, which is probably an inch, so not very good at all, fell low and to the right of the initial shot. I'll just put the 5p piece up, but as you'll see, it doesn't cover anywhere near the group. If I stick it on like that, you'll see the group is quite big. And this being probably from here to here is probably an inch long. That is the maximum range you'd actually be able to shoot anything with, 27 yards or 25 metres, because obviously a UK kill zone will class it as 1 inch, and you try and group all your pellets into that diameter size. So, I wouldn't be able to shoot vermin past 25 metres, 27 yards with these pellets. Being the true fact, I would never use these pellets anyway. These are just, in this barrel, are just used for plinking in the garden, having a bit of fun with the children, or if a friend comes round. But I would never attempt to shoot anything live with these pellets. It just doesn't work in this barrel, this Weihrauch. So the next one we're going to do is the JSB exacts at 4.53mm. Now, I don't know if I've ever shot them before in this Weihrauch. I can't remember. I know I've shot them in the Ultra and the Scorpion SE, but we'll see what they're like in the Weihrauch. The last brand of pellets then we're going to look at are the JSB exacts at 4.53mm. I'm just going to load the rifle. Let's see how we get on with these. Looking quite good so far. Check the magazine. One more remaining. There we go. Another nice fingernail type size group. just zoom out and we'll walk forward and have a see. Well, here we are then looking at the final group, which was shot with the JSB exacts at 4.53mm. And if you look here, you'll see there was an initial shot fired into the centre of this group here, and then I put another 12 shots in the same place. So there's 13 shots there in this tiny little group, and then there was one wobble yet again, but that's just down to me, not the rifle or the pellet, getting a bit complacent when shooting these groups and finding them pretty easy due to the quality of the rifle and the pellet matching the barrel like they do. So I'll get the 5p piece as usual and stick it on. First of all, I'll show you that the actual 5p piece will actually cover the whole group and the wobble quite easily. It's not a problem. I'll fold it off to one side, stick it on. You can see yet again it's another real small group, and to have 13 shots just there like that is really nice. You know, it's real small group. If I get the one shot 177 pellet as well and try and stick it on central for you. Hold the card back. You can see yet again it's another nice small group. What I could say now, after doing this test, you could actually use the JSB exacts at 4.53mm, the Air Arms fields at 4.52, or the RWS Super Field at 4.51mm, and get some really good results from all three brands. I'm not sure, like I said, why the FX don't seem to like my Weihrauch barrel, but the other three definitely do, and they're definitely three different sorts of pellet brands to think about trying if you're buying a 177 caliber HW100 and you want some starting brands to test in your own barrel for accuracy. Well, that's the shoot done now, and as you can see, three of the brands work really well, but I think there's one winner